Hello, this is Freya Swan, and it's Wednesday. That means it's time for another rune reading on my channel because that's what I do on Wednesdays. Welcome back to all of my subscribers. I'm very grateful for you. I get to do this work because you're a subscriber, and I love this stuff. So thank you so very much. If you are new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy your reading today. And if you could do me a quick favor, could you please click that subscribe button? I'm trying to get to my first 100 subscribers, at which point YouTube will let me create a custom URL, which will help share the channel easier, grow the channel, all that wonderful good stuff. So that would help me out so much. I have a little bit of housekeeping and then we can get right into today's reading. Yesterday normally would have been Tarot Tuesday. I am very sorry that I was not able to be here. I had a very busy day. I had client after client after client. By the end of the day, I just did not have it in me. And if I'm going to do one of these videos, I got to be able to give it my all. Tomorrow, one more announcement about tomorrow, is normally Oracle Thursday, and I pick from one of my Oracle decks and I do a reading from that. I am not sure that I will be back in time. I'm going to be out most of the day and I don't think I will have time. If I do, then I'll get a video to you, but that's very iffy. So if you don't see a video from me tomorrow, that will be why. I'm not going to be anywhere near a computer to make that happen. Friday, though, I will be back. It is Reiki Friday, and I make a Reiki charged video. It sends distance Reiki to you at the time that you view it. And I'm not exactly sure, but I'm probably going to do something related to reducing anxiety. We're just in a crazy time. We've got this crazy election. We're in the middle of a pandemic and everything's topsy-turvy. So I'm probably going to do some type of Reiki video to address that. Okay? All right. So if you've never seen this before here, let me explain how this works. So I've got this picture up here of runes. I actually made these. This was from an elder tree that I had. It was unfortunately cut down way too early. I didn't have any say in the matter, but I was able to salvage some of the branches and I made a set of runes from that. So the runes are on the other side of these and I labeled them A, B, and C. What I'm going to have you do is get calm, still your mind, take some deep breaths in and release the tension with your exhale. And I'm going to have you look at the images here and which rune draws you. Is it A or B or C? What calls you? What are you drawn to? I'm just going to give you a moment to do that. All right. And now I'm going to, hopefully you've picked it because I'm going to do the reveal. And here we are. And the three that we have here, the first one is Aiwa's, the second one is Ansu's, and the last one is Ewa's. Okay, so now I'm going to get into the meanings of these and how this, and interpret them in relation to this particular reading. Okay, so Aiwa's means you, not you as a person, but you, the tree. So YEU. And a yew tree is, you'll often find them in graveyards. They're evergreens. So there's the promise that even if something dies, it's reborn. So this could be endings. It could be beginnings, but more about a cycle that we have going on here. And in Norse mythology, yew is one of the trees that's named as being Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil being the world tree was often said to be a yew tree, sometimes an ash, but often a yew. And this rune can mean a number of different things, including decisions and endings. In the context of this reading, though, I'm more drawn to this center line here and the connection of Yggdrasil and all the other worlds the ability to travel up and down the tree into the underworld and back, moving between the various states of consciousness. So if you were drawn to this rune today, let me just focus one sec. So it's time to develop your spiritual side, and you need to delve deeper and reach higher. If you've never meditated before, this would be the perfect time to begin your practice. If you are an adept, then it's time to up your game. If you're just starting out, you can find some guided meditations here on YouTube. Maybe I'll do one maybe for next week, something using tree imagery here to go along with this rune. Something to ground and center and clear your energy. I'm going to try and get that up for next week. For those who already have some skills in this area, it's time to branch out. Perhaps you're drawn to things like trance, mediumship, developing intuition and your psychic senses. Maybe you've wanted to learn how to use like a divinatory tool yourself, like tarot or runes here, like I've got. Maybe it's something else, but maybe you've wanted to study astrology or Reiki or something esoteric. This is the time to pursue this. So you're being called to do this at this point. However, you need to be aware that in doing so, once you step on this path, you can't go back. You can always take a different path. If you don't like it, you can always take another one, but it's still like maybe just, it's moving forward in maybe in a different direction, but you're moving forward. What you can't do is go backwards. You can't undo it. So what I mean here is, all right, the yew tree, yew was used in making bows, making long bows. So once you shoot an arrow, you can't unshoot it. You know, you draw your bow, you've got all that potential, and there's this tension, and it's building and it's building and it's building, and then you let that arrow go and it flies. You can't get it back. I mean, yes, technically you can go pick it up and retrieve it, but that's not what I mean. It's once you've shot it, you can't unshoot it. So like once you see something, you can't unsee it. Once you've experienced something, you can't unexperience it. So that's what I mean by you can't go backwards. This is a decision to step on a path of self-empowerment and self-development. And that kind of thing changes a person. You know, we're not talking about, you know, oh, maybe you take like a quick 2-hour course on a weekend in some topic. You're not an expert. That's just sort of scratching the surface. But if you go beyond that surface and you keep pursuing it and you study it and you do that hard work, it's going to change you. And it can change a person in unpredictable ways. And that can change your life in unpredictable ways. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. Some things might be challenging. You may find that, you know, you evolve and maybe some of your friends, you know, you're not vibing with them anymore, and maybe there are some relationships that part ways, but this is about your development and your evolution, really. So I'm just going to say that it's time for you to take your shot, and I'm going to leave it at that. All right, so the next one, Anzus. Anzus here means God, or alternatively mouth. And by God, I mean Odin, from the Aesir, Odin the All-Father, the one-eyed wanderer, the god of frenzy and inspiration and wisdom. Odin, who hung from Yggdrasil, a sacrifice to himself in order to undergo an ordeal, and through that ordeal he won the knowledge and mysteries of the runes. The meaning of both God and mouth indicate receiving some form of information, generally through some omens, or maybe through some synchronicity, or maybe even directly if you are someone who is a bit sensitive, or if you are, let's say, like people from the previous rune who may be interested in developing their psychic senses. So messages are going to come. Inspiration is going to come. And for those who are drawn to this rune, you can expect to be hit with inspired knowledge, sudden knowings, stronger instincts. You're not alone and you have guidance. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that Odin himself is speaking directly to you and that Odin is your personal guide. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, I suppose maybe, but in some unique cases, but that's not necessarily what I mean. It's just that some type of guidance will be coming through. Regardless, you're going to receive messages, insight. Perhaps these messages come in dreams, or maybe they'll come through one of your clairs, like clairaudience or clairvoyance, claircognizance, and so on. You may also find advice being channeled to you through another person. They may not even necessarily realize that that's what's happening, but if you work with guides or maybe, other spirit beings, you may find that they get a message through to you while, someone is talking, and it seems maybe a little out of character, doesn't seem like something that they would say, or maybe just it was a turn of a phrase that all of a sudden something clicks for you. So be looking for omens, be looking for those signs. It's all well and good to be, having messages sent your way, but you got to have your ears open. Also, speaking of messages coming through and divine messages, this would be a really good time if you've ever had any interest in developing your clairaudience, the clear hearing. This would be a good time for that. All right. And finally, we have Awaz. Not to be confused with Iwaz from the first one, but Awaz. And this means horse. And horse implies partnerships. It implies trust and movement through life. Cars, are new. Horses were the cars and public transportation and heavy equipment, of earlier periods. Horses provided, comfort and convenience and strength and brought speed to all of your travels. If you've ever ridden a horse, you know how important that relationship is between the horse and rider, and the trust and respect. And also that relationship can become very deep emotionally too, for both the person and the horse, both the rider and the horse, I should say. Awaz can often indicate a new relationship or a deepening or escalation of a relationship. And that often can indicate marriage as well. Or it could be partnerships for a business, but we're talking about partnerships and relationships and trust and movement within those relationships. So if you're drawn to this rune, it's really time to look at your partnerships and relationships. And are you happy with them? Are you happy with how they're going? Is there respect between you? Do you trust them? Are you trusted by them? Do you feel like you have control? Do you have the reins here in this relationship? And I don't mean being controlling, but I mean versus, being taken for an unpleasant ride. Does your relationship support you? Does your relationship support you? If there are relationships that are not supporting you and helping you move forward with life, then it's really time to address this, because the people who are in your life should be helping you to move forward. You're going to make room for someone who's going to be supportive and is going to help carry you forward. You deserve someone you can trust. And I'm going to repeat that. You deserve someone that you can trust. And if you've got that person, that's awesome. The two of you may be in for a new adventure together. A new phase is about to begin, and it's something that may test your patience at times, but the way to get through it is to maintain your relationship and maintain respect and trust through it. All right, well, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, if you were new, please click that subscribe button, and I will see you on Friday